Well, hello. This is Karen McDermott Rolfe, independent advisor with Creative Memories, and I am back with my monthly technique, layout, and challenge. Each month, I share a new scrapbooking technique and challenge all of my followers to use the technique to create a layout and share it with me on Facebook for an entry into my monthly door prize drawing. So this is Technique Tuesday number 39. So after you create a layout using this technique, please find me on Facebook at Karen's Croppers and go to the album section and look for the Technique Tuesday number 39 album, and that will be where you share a photo of your layout for an entry into my September door prize drawing. You can also find me at karencrops.com, where I share more layout ideas on my blog. And if you'd be so kind as to purchase from me with Creative Memories, I would appreciate all of your purchases, and I offer a very generous customer rewards program. You can find me at creativememories.com/user/Karen, and it's Karen with a Y. For my technique and layout today, I'm going to be using the very beautiful Serene Waters collection. I just absolutely adore this collection. I love the shades of turquoise and blue and orange in this collection. It's just really great for all of these lake photographs that I have. And I'm revisiting a layout that I shared on my blog a few years ago. So I just wanted to kind of highlight this technique again, make sure that everyone has seen it, because it's a really great idea for using our 12-inch decorative trimmer. To get started, you're going to need 2 sheets of designer paper, 12 by 12, as your background. So you can just set those aside for now. You're also going to need 2 sheets of cardstock. In this case, I'm using white because it provides such a nice contrast with these beautiful papers. And I've cut these white pieces down to 10 1/4 by 9 3/4. So it's 10 1/4 by 9 3/4. You're also going to need some designer paper pieces. And you're going to need 2 that are 1.5 inches by 6. So that's 1.5 inches by 6. Let's see, I think they're going to go down here. You're going to need 2 that are 1 inch by 4 inches. So that's 1 inch by 4. And you're going to need 2 that are 2.5 by 4. Okay, so just to review all of the sizing again, the white pieces of cardstock are 10 1/4 by 9 3/4. And then you'll need 2 pieces that are 1.5 by 6, 2 pieces that are 1 inch by 4, and 2 pieces that are 2.5 inches by 4. You're also going to need photographs. You're going to need your photographs right when you create this layout, because we need to cut the photographs at the same time that we cut the paper. So you're going to need, let's see, 2 photographs that are in the vertical position. So they're 6 by 4. And then you're going to need 4 photographs that are in the vertical position. That means they are 4 by 6. Okay? And so I think it's helpful to arrange your pieces like this of how they're going to appear on the layout. And what we need to keep in mind is that the photos that are on the top row, we're going to cut off about 1/4 inch off of the bottom. And the photos in the paper that are on the bottom row, we're going to cut 1/4 inch off of the tops. Okay? So that's going to work really well with these photos here of how they're centered to take that extra 1/4 inch off the top. Unfortunately here, my little granddaughter is close to the bottom, and I'm going to cut off, it looks like her toes, a little bit of her leg, to make this work with these photographs on the top, okay? But that's all right. So let's set the right page aside for now and just focus on the left side of the layout. I'm going to get my 12-inch decorative trimmer. You might have the updated version of the trimmer that is white instead of dark blue. It's the exact same trimmer, just different colors. This is the original version. It still works, so I had no need to replace it just to get a different color. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with one row at a time, okay? So this is important. So we've got our first top row, and we're going to position these in the trimmer this way. I'm going to start from the left side, and I'm going to take this photograph first, and I'm going to turn it on its side. So the bottom of this photo is 1/4 inch past the cutting groove. So 1/4 inch is one full square grid past that cutting groove. So 1/4 inch past is right there. The excess, or the top of the photo, is hanging off the left side here of the trimmer. Now this piece is going to come next, and I'm going to position it 1/4 inch apart. So I'm leaving one square grid in between this paper piece and my photo. And again, it's 1/4 inch down from, you have to look too, because this is the wavy side. We're using, I should have mentioned, the wavy side here of the decorative trimmer. This side is the swell side. We're going to be using that wavy side. So when we look at it, we have to look at where the dip is the highest, because that's where we need 1/4 inch from. We need 1/4 inch from this highest the dip out. So that's where this is going to be placed at, 1/4 inch from the cutting groove and 1/4 inch from the photograph for the spacing. You want to make sure you have it on there straight. And then we have our final piece. And again, we're going to position it 1/4 inch away from the previous paper piece and 1/4 inch away from the cutting groove. And these are the bottoms of the pieces. So the bottoms are on the right and the tops are hanging over the left. Then we're going to carefully close it so the pieces don't slide on us. We want them nice and straight. And now with your left hand, spread that out and really hold this down, because we don't want these pieces to move on us as we cut. And so now I'm going to just start with the trimmer. Whoops, it's looking like it's going to take off quite a bit of Ellie's lower body there. And now the paper. I could feel it trying to tear this last piece, so I just pulled up on the blade and kind of positioned it down and then started cutting rather than tearing. If you feel that tear start to happen, stop cutting. It did cut off a lot of her leg. That's unfortunate because I really liked her little pose there. So not ideal, but I'm just gonna have to go with it, right? And whoops, it was positioned this way. And this is the way we'll position it back. Now we're going to take the bottom row, and again, we're going to start with the photo here that's on the right side first. And now we want to cut 1/4 inch off the tops. So now we're going to arrange the photo this way. So the top of the photo is 1/4 inch past that top dip on the swell cutting line, or the wavy cutting line. So here's the wavy cutting line. I'm 1/4 inch up, and I'm flush there on the top of the trimmer. And this time the excess, or the bottom of the photo, is hanging on the right side. See that? So this photo comes next. I'm going to position it here on the trimmer 1/4 inch over from the other photograph, and again 1/4 inch from the cutting groove. And now lastly is this piece of paper, and again I'm going to position it 1/4 inch from the photograph, 1/4 inch from the cutting groove. Carefully closing it, and now I'm just looking to see if these slid a little bit when I closed the arm. It looks pretty good. So again, with this left hand, I'm going to hold it down. Whoops. See how that blade wanted to move that paper? I'm going to need to make sure I've got this paper right, because it slid a little bit. So now I'm holding down so the photos don't slide or slip in cutting. And now we're going to position them again back in that order. And the shapes should match up. Now, somehow it did not match up. Okay, I had to pause the video there and think about what I did, because I was trying to figure out why those pieces didn't match up, because I know that I did it perfectly. And what had happened here is I did not have these pieces arranged in the right order. When I cut them, they were on the trimmer like this. The orange piece came first, and then this piece, and now this piece matches up. Remember when I laid it out, it was looking like this, and I couldn't figure out why that was not matching up there. Well, I just had these pieces in the wrong position, okay? So be careful, after when you cut them, to line them back up how you had them before, okay? And we're going to do this again with the other page so you can just see it all happen again. And if you're a little leery about this, practice first with some scrap paper. So again, I have my photos and my paper pieces arranged here in the order that they're going to be presented on the layout. So I'm going to work with the top row first, and we're going to cut off this bottom edge again. So that means we're going to take this piece that's on the far right, and we're going to put it in first, and we're going to cut the bottom of it off. So that means the top is going to overhang to the left, and we want it 1/4 inch past that cutting groove. Again, look at where the top or the furthest away that dip is. So you get 1/4 inch. And then position the pieces 1/4 inch apart. That's one grid. And now the photograph, again, we're going to cut that bottom edge off. So we want the bottom 1/4 inch past the cutting line. And we want the tops to overhang to the left, okay? We're going to be holding it down. Now see how that kind of wanted to slide on me, that little piece of paper? So see what I'm trying to hold it with my fingers so that doesn't happen. This piece was sliding a little bit too. Yeah, and it cut off Ellie again. Not quite as much as last time. And now the bottom row, we're going to cut 1/4 inch off at the top. So we're going to work with the far piece here, the far right first. And we're going to cut this time 1/4 inch off the top. Okay, so this time we're going to put the top in. So it's 1/4 inch this way to the left of that cutting line. So it's to the left of the cutting line, and the excess is overhanging to the right of the trimmer. And now the photograph, we're going to space it 1/4 inch apart and 1/4 inch above the cutting line. The bottom of the photo is going to overhang to the right this time. And again, spacing them out 1/4 inch. Photos are a little curved. They came from the photo processor that way, so they're not wanting to lay down flat. So I'm trying to kind of hold them a little bit so when I close the arm, they're still straight. So I'm just looking now. This one did slide. Whoops. That looks pretty good. And again, we're using the wavy side, not that swell side. Taking 1/4 inch off the tops. And now important, we've got to arrange the pieces back in the position where they go. So that way we get the nice wavy line in between the pieces. Okay. So now we are done cutting. Let's just kind of lay this out so you can get an idea of how it's going to look. Got my backgrounds. And I think I'm going to butt the pieces up together. So right there in that seam, the white cardstock pieces are going to butt up together. And I'm spacing the pieces out so there's about, a 1/4 inch or so in between them all. Okay, and then I'll do that with the right side also. Scooching them over here. When I tape them down, again, I'll just double check all that spacing. I'll make sure the pieces are nice and straight before I start to tape. I'll make sure that I've got the nice wavy line that runs all the way there across both. There we go. I love that look of that. It kind of mimics again the wave of the water and the look of this. So how will I finish the layout? I will add some embellishment clusters, probably, in 3 different spots, kind of somewhere on the layout to help to move the eye around and add some decoration. I will add some journaling. I can probably write on top of one of these light blue pieces. So here I can write about it. And then also to provide an area for a title too. So I'm going to stop the video right now. I'm going to work on completing the layout, and then I'll come back and show you the finished layout after I totally get it finished. Alrighty, I am back with my almost completed layout. If you recall, when I last left you, I had laid out all of my photos and paper pieces on some white cardstock. Now, the more I looked at that, I was not so happy with it, and let me explain why. The photographs here, if you'll notice, the sky really photographed as white. So with that white on the white, I did not get really a good contrast that really highlighted the spacing between all of the pieces and then this pretty wave shape that we really wanted to highlight. So by changing it out to the dark sea green cardstock, it really just made it pop. It really made all the photos pop more. It gave them a nice matting background of a darker color with that contrast and really showed off all the lines. Because what we've really created here is a faux mosaic layout. Typically a layout like this that has pieces of different sizes or different shapes, we're using our recipe templates, the Mylar plastic recipe templates that we trace onto the paper, and we trace the photos, and then typically we'll hand cut them with scissors. So this mosaic technique was much easier because we're starting out, with rectangular pieces. And then by just using our 12-inch decorative trimmer, we're able to add this real decorative interest. So I really love this technique. It's kind of that faux mosaic technique, I think is the name I'm going to give to this. Let's see, I finished it off. I added some stickers and embellishments from the Serene Waters. I added some border pieces that I punched with the Friendly Fish. That's the Friendly Fish border punch. Also out of that dark sea green, and I just cut them to fit, and it just kind of helped to fill out the page, kind of help to anchor these 2 pieces a little bit to the backgrounds. And then you'll also notice a small detail, but I think it adds a big impact. And I always say this with the pen detailing. So I added a little faux stitching around the outside, just again to give this piece a little bit bigger footprint, because there was quite a bit of space around the edge. And so it just kind of helped to fill it up a little bit more and to bring it tied all together. So the only thing that my layout is missing is my journaling that I'm going to add right here. I'm going to keep that journaling private for me and my granddaughter and my family, but you guys will know, you can imagine what that'll look like with a few lines there of the journaling. So I hope that you try this technique. It's not hard. It's fun. It's going to give you a great visual impact. And I just can't wait to see all of your adaptations of this layout. So please share them with me on Facebook at Karen's Croppers. And you're going to look for the album section and look for the album titled Technique Tuesday number 39. All right, everybody, have a great day, have a great month, and I'll be back next month with my next technique.